Hey, it's Day with Redeeming Day. I was thinking about what I was thinking about. I wonder what you're thinking about, and I wonder if you're getting what you're thinking about. We just had a great musical weekend for my granddaughter, and she was in The Music Man, right? Which is a 1957 book and then movie. And they talk about the think system. Well, as I'm watching this play, which was so fabulous, where well, she goes to an amazing Christian school, and it was a really, really good production. But I got to thinking about the think system, okay, which maybe back in 1957, I thought maybe that's not such a big deal. Today it is, right? Today, a lot of people are talking about what we're thinking about. But then I researched it a little bit, and there's a book from 1903 that talks about as a man thinketh, so is he. And then, of course, Proverbs 23:7 says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Well, that got me to thinking, right? Last year I did a video on metacognitive thinking because I have found in my life that what I am thinking about is what comes to happen in my life, what comes to be in my life. And it has really made me meditate on good things and want to look forward to good things. Now, certainly some things we don't have control over, but I think we have a lot more to do with what happens in our life than we think we do. You can go back even to the verse in Proverbs, certainly, but then also Romans 12:1 and 2, which I'm always talking about, right? Present yourself as a living sacrifice. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, by thinking what you want to be having happen in your life. Thinking deeply, like I'm always talking about, what is going on with you? Because I bet if we look back and then look at our lives now, we've been thinking about what we're having in our life right now. There's a thing I have really been fascinated with called the mirror principle. And if we look into a mirror, that mirror is just a reflection, right? It's a reflection of what we are in front of it. So if I'm thinking, if I am perceiving something about my life, then it is reflected back to me. So if I'm always thinking about the negative or thinking about what's going wrong or thinking about what could go wrong, you know what's going to reflect back to me from that mirror? Probably something that is not what I want, right? So that's why, as I'm watching this great musical and I'm seeing the think system and I'm seeing them talk about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so profound. It's straight from the Word of God, right? As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So, what if the key for this week is to really be thinking about what we're thinking about? This isn't a new concept, and I've talked about it before. I'm actually going to link that video from last year down in the description. But it has changed my life. Before I knew this, I was thinking about a whole bunch of stuff I didn't need to be thinking about. I was bringing into my life things that I didn't want to have happening because I was worrying about them, because I was anxious about them, because I was fearful. And all of those just get us like in this loop. We just start thinking about things that could go wrong. And what do they say about worry? Lots of times what we're worrying about never even happens. Well, I'm going to disagree with that a little bit. I think the more we think about it, the more we bring into our lives what we're concentrating on, what we're focusing on. And imagination is another huge concept from the Word of God, right? He tells us that nothing we've imagined will be impossible for us. Well, that is a massive, massive statement. Now we have to use wisdom, of course. We have to know that faith and patience inherit the promises of God. But I'm telling you, this is what my whole life is about now. So when I get up, I am grateful and I am thinking about what I want the day to be. And that might be a good key for you. So as I was watching this great musical, and my granddaughter was just so funny, she was hysterical. I was so thankful. And as I saw him saying think system, the think system, he's telling these kids to think about playing these musical instruments. It's a great fun show if you've never seen it. But there is really something to the think system, and I'm going to use it in my life. I do use it in my life. So I thought that was a good key for this week. Think about that verse in Proverbs. And Oh boy, I cut off right there. Guess what? I'm gonna have to learn to merge two videos. Oh well. Anyway, the point, of course, is to think about what you're thinking about. And can we go forward and only think something into being? No, we need to take action, of course. We need to take godly, wise, wisdom action. But when we're thinking about what is good and true and right and praiseworthy, you know what? We're going to want to take good action. And that's when things happen in our lives. When we're taking steps forward towards the prize, there's another great Bible verse. It is such a good instruction manual for life. So think about what you're thinking about and then take good action towards what you're thinking about. And don't let fear and doubt and worry be the first thing in your mind, right? Because those things then are going to just start to manifest in your life. If you're anxious and afraid all the time, there's a reason God tells us to not be worrying. There's a reason that he told us to not be anxious or afraid, because he has given us so many good promises. So thanks for listening. That's a great key for this week. I hope you guys are all doing good. Take care. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.